Hi, welcome to our live session today. We are going to be talking about energy drinks. So if you have comments, jump on and let me know any of your comments as we're going along. But this live topic is spurred on by a question I had from a young man. He was in his probably late 20s, and the question was, I feel like I need energy drinks to function in my life. He was a young father. He and his wife had just had a baby. He is ex-military, working a high stress job, trying to do all the things that all the responsibilities that we shoulder as adults and grown-ups, work and family and all of that stuff. And he was using energy drinks sort of as a crutch. And he made the comment that they worked really good for a little bit, and now it feels like they're just not working. So let's talk about that, because the way that I answered his question for me was, I try not to just come at somebody and say, oh well, I don't like that because I just don't like it. I try to say, here's the ingredients in something, whether it's a drink or a supplement or a type of a diet or whatever. Here's the objective facts about that, and what effects do they have, and do we want those effects, yes or no? So in the case of energy drinks, I think one of the great questions that I always ask people is, if you feel like you need an energy drink, why? Our bodies are designed to have plenty of energy to get up and do the things that you know that we are designed and meant to do, like work and raise our kids and do all that. And especially someone in their 20s, they should have that energy. So that's question number one, like, oh, why do I need an energy drink in the first place? And some of the foundational issues that I see are they're missing some foundational nutrients in their body because they are not consuming a good balanced whole foods diet, things like that. um, they are stressed, and that when you're stressed out, you secrete B vitamins and a lot of your minerals and things like that, just because of the stress response. So looking at those kinds of things, and we'll talk a little bit more about that at the end, of what can you do if you don't want to live on energy supports and energy drinks. But looking at asking yourself, why are you tired? Why are you tired in the first place? And if if you need to look at some of those foundational issues. So let's back to energy drinks. Let's talk about what why there's some things in there that might not be the best for you, and how you would know. So the number one ingredient in a lot of those energy drinks is caffeine. And so if you are having 1 cup of caffeine coffee a day, something with caffeine a day, you're probably not doing much damage for your body. It's a stimulant. It speeds up your body. You can get a little extra performance edge from it, things like that. So if you use it sparingly, the effects are probably fine. Now, when you go and you use it in excess, like you're drinking pots of coffee, then we start to say, oh well, you're stimulating your body to be a little more productive than it could normally, can and should be. And you can do that for a little bit. It's like, caffeine is like the jockey on the horse. Can you whip your body to go a little bit faster? You can, and caffeine will do that, and you can do it for a little bit. But then at some point you hit this brick wall where it doesn't matter how much more you want to do and how much more energy you want to have, you just can't do it. You hit this brick wall. So caffeine, um, some people are more sensitive to it than others also. So some people can't tolerate any of it. But most people, 1 cup of coffee or something, tea with a little bit of caffeine, one a day, no problem. Lots of it, too much. And the amount that they put in most of those energy drinks is probably too much. And let's face it, a lot of people that are drinking 1 energy drink a day, they don't stop there. It's 2, 3 energy drinks a day. So that's the first ingredient, caffeine. And then let's talk about sugar. There's a lot of sugar in some of these energy drinks. And then we all know sugar raises blood sugar, sets you up for diabetes, blood sugar swings, all kinds of terrible things, weight gain, all of that. But what about the sugar-free ones? They're advertised as um, they don't have sugar. And we think, oh, that's great. Well, what do they have in them instead? Artificial sweeteners, things like sucralose and Splenda, aspartame, acesulfame K, different, there's different names for different sweeteners, but they all probably carry a risk that you don't want to invite into your life. So this is true of, say, sucralose or Splenda, for example. Those have been shown to increase your risk of cancer. They're cancer causing substances. So that's why I'm not a fan of that. What about aspartame? Aspartame actually has been shown to take the waxy coating off the neurons in your brain. Ooh, that's probably as good as it sounds, right? So you want to be careful with that. Acesulfame K has some other things that reasons you don't want to subscribe to using that. But anyway, artificial sweeteners, most people think, oh, okay, well, at least they don't have sugar, so they're not going to contribute to weight gain and raise my insulin. But in fact, there are studies that show that these artificial sweeteners actually can raise your sugar levels, and that even worse than consuming sugar. So the very thing we're trying to prevent is an insulin response and weight gain and all that. It happens. In fact, if you're watching this and you're drinking drinks with artificial sweeteners in them, if you just give those up, you'll probably lose 5 to 10 pounds just like that from the stopping of the artificial sweetener use. So I see that in a lot of people. I know that happens quite a bit for that very reason, the insulin response. So that's that piece of it. And then the other thing that they put in energy drinks quite often are B vitamins. And while I'm a huge fan of B vitamins, because I do a large amount of nutrient testing, I've probably seen over 1,000 nutrient profiles and tests where I'm looking at vitamin levels and things like that. And one of the things that I almost always see low on people is B vitamins in one form or another. So those are going into the energy drinks. Now, on the surface, that sounds like a great thing, but here's the thing with B vitamins. We also have about 50% of the population, up to 50%, walking around with a genetic variant. The name of this is the MTHFR variant, and it looks like a curse word when you see it on paper. But anyway, if you have that variant, it really, to simplify that, it means that you don't break down and assimilate folic acid and turn it into the folate that you need. The real ingredient that you need in your life is folate or B9. But what manufacturers of supplements and energy drinks have done is they've created this folic acid form of folate. It's cheap, synthetic. The reason that they put it in things is because it's cheap. So they reason that it's the same as having folate in your diet, but it's not, because your body has to convert the folic acid to folate. And if you have that MTHFR genetic variant, then you don't do a good job of that. And actually it can become toxic to you. So that's why, like, I'm real careful about the types of B vitamins that I use and recommend to my patients, making sure they're methylated. So that's one of the things that is typically found in energy drinks, though, are those B vitamins, and they're typically not methylated. Like, you'll see folic acid as an example, as an ingredient in there. And sometimes they make people feel worse, because if they have that genetic variant and they take any kind of folic acid that's not broken down and methylated, they can't get rid of it. They can't break it down and clear it. So they end up with some things like joint pain and I've even seen more than one person diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis when that was the problem. They were taking high doses of B vitamins that weren't methylated, and they had a pretty serious genetic variant around that MTHFR, and so they weren't clearing it. It was building up and causing an inflammatory cascade. So those are the reasons that I'm not a big fan of B vitamins. So if you back up and say, I'm sorry, a big fan of energy drinks. I was talking about B vitamins, but why I'm not a big fan of energy drinks. And so I feel like if you just back up and ask the question, if I feel like I need an energy drink, what do I do? I need more energy, because that is stubborn weight loss, people that can't lose weight, even though they try to do the things that they think should make them lose weight, and fatigue. I'm tired all the time. I have no energy. Those are the two biggest things I see in practice. So this is for real when you feel tired and like you don't have energy. So what do you do? First, I'm going to say make sure you're getting enough sleep. Most people are not getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep, and they're not getting to bed before 10 o'clock. The restorative sleep happens from 10 o'clock p.m. to 2 a.m. That's the best, most deep restorative sleep you're going to get. So get to bed. Number one, get to bed and get at least 7, hopefully up to 9 hours of good sleep. That will help. And do it at the right time. Get to bed by 10. The other thing is, make sure your diet contains the building blocks and raw materials you need for good health. So it's, have you heard the eat to live versus live to eat? Well, if you're living to eat, you're probably choosing foods that taste good and, scratch the itch for, I feel like something salty or something sweet or whatever. But if you're really eating to live, you'll think of, is my diet providing me all the nutrients that I need, and not providing me with things that actually rob my health from me. Things like vegetable oils that, damage my cells, and high sugar that causes, blood sugar spikes and ultimately insulin resistance and diabetes, and preservatives and food coloring, and all those things that can damage my brain and my gut, and all of those things. But really, am I focusing on lots of good, healthy produce, lots of vegetables, things that are high in fiber, fruits with antioxidants like berries and things like that, good quality proteins, healthy fats, all of those kinds of things? Am I building a foundation to where I have the nutrients I need? And if I'm not, if there's a few things that I can't easily get in my diet on a regular basis, am I supplementing strategically and appropriately? So, that's another thing. And then, there's a lot of other things that can make people really tired that I see routinely is their mitochondria. That is where the cell is the cells that produce ATP that we convert to energy. That's where energy is made. As you probably remember from biology class, the powerhouse of the cell. So just, is that working? Do we have all the building blocks? That goes back to getting the nutrients: B vitamins, magnesium, CoQ10, iron. That's a big one for women. If you don't have enough iron, it's like you can't bring oxygen to the game to light the fire of the metabolism. So, in women that are of childbearing age, low iron is for sure a factor, and a lot of times it's not being tested properly. We're just testing a serum iron, but not looking at ferritin and the storage form, the more sensitive indicators for iron. And so women are walking around being told their iron levels look good, when in reality they're a little bit low enough for them to feel bad. And then the thyroid is another big one. It's estimated that 1 in 5 women and 1 in 10 men in the US have thyroid problems. And most people are not being told that. They're not getting a good evaluation. They're being told, hey, we put one little thyroid marker on your lab test and we told you look good. But really, when you look at a thyroid the way it's supposed to be broken down, you look at 8 numbers and map it out on all the pieces of the thyroid. Is everything doing what it's supposed to do? You find that, hey, on paper it might look okay, but I bet you feel like it's a little slow, and here's why. So sometimes it makes sense to have, if you're really feeling tired and you think, I am sleeping well and getting plenty of sleep, I am eating good, healthy, nutritious things, I don't understand why I'm so tired. Maybe it makes sense to pop the hood, and so to speak, and look under the hood and see what could be some of those contributing factors. So you can comment if you have any questions. If you go back after the fact and watch this and you have any comments, I will do my best to answer them. And if you have questions about, you want to do that look under the hood, a discovery call is where I can walk you through what that looks like and what would be involved. And I'll just listen to you and give you an honest answer on whether I think there's something we can do to help you and what what's involved in that. But I definitely wanted to jump on and do a quick little talk about energy drinks, because I think a lot of people are taking them, and it's a great question of why, what do I do if I feel like I need more energy? That I appreciated that question, and I wanted to do my best to answer that in a good way. So thanks for watching, and have a blessed rest of your day.